pioneer species, what are they? Pioneer species are a group of species that usually arrive at a location that's had some sort of wipeout, complete damage. Something has happened and it's made an environment start again. So it can be anything from maybe an environment that's never been colonized previously. It could be that there's been a volcano or some sort of major disaster. It could even be fire. Something that has completely wiped a place clean. Pioneer species can even be drawn to locations where there's say been a lot of building works or where something has been happening to the area that has completely wiped it clean, and now there's really nothing there. So you have a totally barren landscape. Now what this provides pioneer species is the opportunity to just explode their population all over the whole place without having to worry about being outcompeted. So pioneer species, they want to arrive at a location, they want to arrive quick, they want to reproduce, and then they want to die off basically. So that's what they want to do, and so they do it quickly. These are the absolute pioneers of live hard, die young types. So as I mentioned, they go to a location that's maybe been totally wiped clean, and there is usually then very little in the way of nutrients, very little in the way of any sort of soil depth or anything like that, and so they are really well adapted at surviving in these really harsh environments. As anybody that gardens can contest, something like a dandelion, which is a pioneer species, has the roots of, I don't know, trees almost. They have a great big taproot. It goes right down, and then they have many feeler roots that spread out. And what they're doing is they are anchoring themselves down so that they don't get wiped away, and they are spreading out and they are looking for as much food as they can possibly get. These plants are going to grow wild and quickly. They're going to throw out leaves as quickly as they possibly can. Those leaves are going to unfurl and take in as much light as possible to be able to feed themselves. So they are looking for nutrients in every single location they can possibly get them in. As soon as they've done that, they're then going to pop up some sort of flower head. Now, this flower head usually, in a lot of pioneer species like dandelions and things, it has many, many, many flowers. So you look at a dandelion, you see one big yellow head, and you think that's one flower. But actually it's made up of many, many, many flowers, and we can tell that for when it goes to seed. So some of these species don't hang about and wait for pollinators. They can pollinate themselves. Others do hang about and wait for pollinators. But once they have been pollinated, they will usually go to seed really quite quickly. And as with a dandelion or something like a willow herb, what you notice is a fine fuzz of flower head all sort of being produced all at once. And that has a seed at the bottom and then like a little umbrella at the top, or some sort of fine down with a seed somewhere inside that down. Now, each individual flower will produce one seed, and so that tells you how many flowers are just on top of one dandelion, for example. These are then wind distributed. So pioneer species are looking to get out and spread as fast as humanly possible, or as plantly possible. So they're usually wind distributed because they want to spread really quickly. The great thing about pioneer species is that they come into an environment, they grow really quickly, they spread really quickly, they die back really quickly. So what they're doing is they're bringing with them bacteria, fungi, and other decomposers. They're going to break them down and start to produce soils. So that is all soil is, really, is it's broken down organic matter and broken down sort of rocks. So the rocks that were under the ground but before the soil was formed is weathered, and that produces soil. So these plants provide nutrients for other plants. Now, as soon as we get some of these other plants arrive, the pioneer species are quickly outcompeted. These plants can take their time to grow. They have access to loads of nutrients because the pioneers have put that down. So they can just access all of the nutrients, take their time, and so they usually grow bigger, taller, and hardier. If you look at pioneer species, they generally sort of tend to have quite weak sort of stems, because they're not going to be around very long, so they don't want to put the effort in. They want to put the effort into making as many seeds as possible and spreading them out as far as possible. That's what a pioneer species wants to do. Other later colonizing species, they want to grow They want to take their time, they want to use up some nutrients, and then they invest a little bit more effort and energy into their seeds. They're not just going to produce millions of seeds and hope for the best. They're going to produce fewer seeds that are going to have access to better environments. So pioneer species lay the pavement and lay the way for other colonizing species to come along and outcompete them. But without those pioneer species bringing up the nutrients and adding nutrients down into the ground and producing soils, many of our environments would have never been turned into the beautiful forests and flora and fauna that we see today. It never would have happened without these amazing pioneer species. So we should all be grateful when you see dandelions or willow herb or any other pioneer species. We should look at those guys and think, thank you so much for all that you do, and spread a little wish, let their seeds grow far and wide. The plants are going to grow, they're going to grow tall and quickly, but they're going to die back quickly, and they're giving you free nutrients for your garden, for your area, and for the earth. So just let them get on with it. But pioneer species are pretty cool. Let me know in the comments below if you appreciate any pioneer species, or if you had a dandelion right now and you were to blow it, what would you wish for? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Okay, see you soon. Bye.